Hi everybody and welcome back to Lena Bond Sports Talk. I'm your host, Lena Bond. Today we're talking NFL Combine, specifically who I thought were the winners, who I thought were the losers, who I think upped their draft stock, and who I think made it a little harder for themselves come April. Right out the gates, I'm going to go number one on my winners column, and that is Myles Garrett, the defensive end out of Texas A&M. Hate me if you want to, but Myles Garrett deserves to be on this list for the exact same reason why my friend Ezekiel Elliott over here should have won Rookie of the Year over Dak Prescott, but I digress. Myles Garrett is on this list because he killed it at the Combine, and that is exactly what everyone expected him to do. He ran a 4.64 40 and a 41-inch vert, which is incredibly impressive for a D-end. And just to put it simply, he is taller than Julio Jones, heavier than Gronk, quicker than Devonta Freeman, and faster than Jarvis Landry. Need I say more? Let me answer that for you. No. All right, guys, moving on to number two in my winners column, we have John Ross, the wide receiver out of Washington. How could I not put him on the list? He broke Chris Johnson's record with a 4.22 40. But to me, what's even more impressive about that is the fact that 2 years ago, he was on the couch recovering from a torn ACL. And I have to be honest with you guys, I really wanted to put him in my losers category purely based off the fact that he lost out on an island. All you had to do was wear Adidas, dude. That's all you had to do. But I guess he was also signed by Nike the next day, so all is well that ends well, right? Moving on to number three on my list, we have Deshaun Watson, quarterback out of Clemson. Yes, Deshaun Watson, you are a winner in my book. There were a lot of questions for Deshaun Watson going into the Combine, specifically how would he fit in an NFL system, how would he do with the throws, how would his footwork look, etc., etc., and he absolutely killed it. According to USA Today's Tom Pellerisio, a consensus formed among teams that Watson won the day. What more could you ask for? This kid reminds me a lot of Dak Prescott, call me a homer, whatever. But Dak also had a lot of questions revolving around him as he left college about how could he handle an NFL-style offense. And obviously, he silenced the haters last year with the Cowboys, and I think Deshaun Watson is going to do exactly the same once he gets into an NFL-style offense next season. Speaking of quarterbacks named Deshaun, that brings me to my first loser of the list, Deshone Kizer, the quarterback out of Notre Dame. When I was talking about Deshaun Watson, he has that intangible. Dak Prescott has it, he has it. I do not think Deshone Kizer has it. He looked very uncomfortable when he was doing practice drills at the Combine on Saturday. His mechanics looked really bad. He looked like he was seeing ghosts out there. His Combine was pretty average compared to the rest of the quarterback class. He ran a 4.83 40 and a 30-inch vert. But to make matters worse is that when he came out of the college football season and declared for the draft, he said that he really wants to work on his throwing motion. He wants to work on his mechanics. He wants to make his pass better. He obviously didn't do that. It was an unfulfilled promise. Unless he's really able to strap down and focus on that, I don't see him being anything but a developmental player in the league. Moving on, number two on my losers column, we have Reuben Foster, middle linebacker out of Alabama. Now, I really expected Reuben Foster to go into the Combine and really solidify his top 10 draft pick standing. However, he got into an altercation with a male nurse at a medical facility, even got up in the guy's face and said, "Do you know who I am?" And because of this, he got kicked out of the NFL Combine. Now, I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, if you can't tell, and what head coach Jason Garrett always preaches is that he wants RKGs on his team, the right kind of guys. And let me tell you, I do not think Reuben Foster is an RKG. You can say that his draft stock should remain unchanged, but I think this is going to bring up a lot of questions about his character. Plus, the middle linebacker position is typically a really undervalued position in the draft, and because of that, I think he might drop to the late first round, maybe even early second come April. All right, guys, last player in my losers column, we have Teez Tabor, cornerback out of Florida. Now, Tabor is another one of those players that a lot of questions going around about their character going into the Combine. I personally thought that a nice workout would silence a lot of those talks. Unfortunately, he put up a pretty lackluster performance, only ran a 4.62 40, which left a lot of scouts scratching their head as whether or not he'd be able to keep up with some of the speedsters we have in the league. Additionally, Sports Illustrated said that, quote, Tabor didn't run well or look very fluid in drills, and the interviews didn't go great either, end quote. Now, when it comes to the Combine, some players enter it knowing that the medical evaluations are going to be their biggest hurdle. Some think it's going to be the drills, and others, it's the interviews so they can clear up some past issues. I think Tabor falls into that third category, and because he didn't nail his interviews, I do not think he's going to have his name called during the first round come April. All right, guys, I think I've spoken my piece here. If you have any comments or suggestions about my segment, please feel free to shoot them my way. Also, follow me on Twitter at Lena Bond Sports and check out my website at lenabond.com. And until next time, I'm Lena Bond, and just remember, my word is bond.